let's go deeper than we've ever gone. Let's go to the ultimate issue that we fought about in the history of our
Oh
marriage.
boy,
The
there are
biggest
so many.
threat
I
to our
don't know.
marriage.
I don't know which one this is going to be.
It's it.
Go ahead.
Okay. It's one that I never could fathom, never could understand, never could
Yep.
comprehend. But this is just me. I was married once, a long time ago, before I was married to Ernestine.
I hope so, not at the same time, but yeah.
Soon after college, I was married to my junior high school sweetheart.
Right.
And then I did have a long-term relationship back in the 80s, early 90s
Right.
that lasted, I don't know, 6 or 7 years maybe.
Right.
And those two women became like sisters to me.
Right.
And I did want to keep in touch with them as sisters, not as lovers.
Right.
Nothing romantic about it to me, but just because in my life, as you know,
Yeah.
I always wanted my sister to be my sister,
Right.
and I never could reach her. I don't know why. She was younger. I had a middle child brother, so I was the oldest. Then my brother Rick.
Right.
Then my sister Luann. May she rest in peace. And I always wanted to be close with her, and she just didn't want to be close, and I don't know why. It's the biggest mystery of my life that my sister didn't want to be my sister. And maybe it was my fault. I don't know.
I don't know. I think she was closer with your brother.
Well, she
so.
gravitated
Well, they were
to
younger.
my brother.
They were.
And
The age was
they
closer.
bonded. And I went away to school
Yeah.
because I needed to get out from under
Oh, you had a crazy
a
house.
wrecked household. And I did leave them in a lurch and a mess. But I still tried to reach out to my sister. Whatever. So my sisters became my ex-wife and my
Right.
ex-lover,
Right.
girlfriend.
Right.
And she just could not live
No,
with
that doesn't sit well in my world. No, because there is no such thing as having an ex-wife and an ex-girlfriend as a sister. Maybe in your head you concoct that, but that's not what is reality. I know for a fact there is always one person in that sister brother that you think that is not thinking of the other person as the brother. So there is no way I'm going to be in a relationship with somebody else from the past, an ex-wife, an ex-girlfriend, and I'm just going to sit back. I know Rod Stewart has 8 ex-wives, and they all get together with the kids, and that's really nice, and everybody's
but
one
there are no
happy
kids
family.
involved, right?
There are no kids involved.
No.
So therefore, there's no need to keep in touch with the past. I don't keep in touch with anybody I dated from 35 years ago. It's just not right. When you end up being in a relationship with someone and you get married or you have a long-term relationship, that's when it ends. There's no need to have, do you remember 30 years ago when you and I went somewhere? That's over. That's like a past rearview mirror. Okay, so now you're in a new relationship and there's no need to keep the sister thing going. If you need a sister, we could adopt a child as a
Okay.
someone to replace, or big brothers and big sisters. You can donate time.
Yeah.
There's no ex-sister.
Well, I do have Hazel who's asleep
you
in my
have
lap
Hazel,
right now
but
as we speak.
I don't know how you can't understand that the other person is going to say, "Oh, that's nice. Why don't you invite her to let's have Thanksgiving with her, your other
would do
sister
that.
who you were married to."
Yeah.
What? That's psycho.
Okay. So speaking of psycho,
Yeah.
you can go a little psycho.
Yeah, I will go psycho on
and
that.
she did happen to see a text or two from my
Yeah,
ex-girlfriend.
that's not gonna work in
and
my
she was
world.
just like, nope,
No, I
no.
pulled the plug on that one.
And she
No.
pulled the plug because she actually called.
I did. My mother has taught me well in my
she
life.
has.
My mother was from the Lower East Side, a Jewish
Of New
woman
York.
who in New York City, which is the very hip, cool. Even back in the 30s and 40s and 50s, it was a very cool, hip place.
It was.
And a Jewish woman back then in that area does not take crap from anybody. So my mother taught me very well, and she said, there's no room in a relationship for a third person. So when I found those texts, I decided, I called my mother, and she said, no, you need to nip this in the bud. You need to call
She
that
nipped it.
other sister of his, and you need to tell her the reality of where it is. And I did.
She did.
And there was the apology that came later that night that said,
I know.
I will cease
Okay.
all communication
She
with
did.
him.
Okay.
Case closed, work was done. That was it.
Okay. So I couldn't understand it because in my heart of hearts, it was pure. Like
you convince yourself,
me,
you do,
okay,
you convince
but
yourself
there's
of
no
these things.
attraction left.
Your attraction was from 30 years ago. See, you blind yourself, which that's fine. You want to do that. I'm a very realistic person. Now, I know 30 years ago, I look a little different. You look a little different. Everybody changes
Everything
over 30
would be
years.
different.
Okay.
I agree.
But your memory of these people from 30 years ago, you think they still, like, time stopped. It's like some Twilight Zone. Like, you think those people that was your ex-wife and ex-girlfriend, they're still the same person and you still know them really well. You haven't seen them in 30 years.
I know.
What do you know?
You're correct. It is 30 years.
So what do you have in common with them in 30 years? Because you went out with somebody for 6 years?
What I have in common is what I went through with them.
That's gone. Okay. What's in common is now you and I, what we have. That's past, man. You got to let that go.
All right. So to my credit, after you harped on this and after you took your stand and after you made that call.
Well, it's walk out or, I'm not going to stick for this.
Like this is going to be the end of this.
No, it ain't going to work.
And for the first time in my life, I always, when birthdays come, I would always say happy birthday, but that's nice all. And it would be only one communication a year would be the birthday text or the Christmas.
It was more, it was his birthday, then it was Christmas, then it was her birthday, your birthday. We got a lot of birthdays.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the first time in my life with you, what have we been together?
19.
We're going on 20, right? Okay. I decided this year, no birthday text, no Christmas communication.
That was
it was your Christmas present, and I still don't know what to get you for Christmas.
Right.
Now
that's okay.
Whatever. But my birthday and Christmas present to you was no contact. I ceased. I cut it off.
Well,
and
you need a prize for that? That's not a prize. That's just like real life. That's like, why would you? A lot of people keep in touch with their exes, and I'm sure the other person in their life is not happy about it.
I don't know. I never asked.
Poll it. I mean, people can write in and tell us if they keep in touch with their exes.
So when I knew that you were correct was we have a friend who's an orthopedic surgeon in New York, and he was out here recently to do some work on a famous basketball player. And I went to a quick early dinner with him, as you know.
Remember.
And we somehow got off on this subject, and he was adamantly in your corner about this, saying,
that's why I love him.
Saying, hey, she's right about this. I'm on her side. You have to cut it off, cease all communications. So I did.
I mean, considering it's been 19 years that you've kept in touch with them, so after 19 years, you finally got enough.
That is correct.
You know,
finally.
Finally.